I planned the perfect family weekend and then ended up ruining it. I feel like such an idiot right now, and I need an outside perspective. My husband and I both work a lot, and the last few months have been pretty chaotic with the kids and everything. I keep thinking how we never really have quality time as a family anymore, so I decided to plan this really nice family weekend. I spent weeks organizing it, found a cute Airbnb, planned a couple of activities for the kids, made a dinner reservation, packed snacks, the whole thing. In my head, it was going to be this wholesome, relaxing weekend where everyone reconnects, except it kind of fell apart. First, our dog sitter canceled the morning of, and I spent hours trying to figure out an alternative. Next, we were late leaving because one of our kids couldn't find their shoes, and when we finally got to the Airbnb, it took us half an hour to get in because the code wasn't working, and our host had to come and reset it. All of this threw off our timing for the booking I'd made for dinner, and I could feel myself just fuming. On the way to the restaurant, one of the kids spilled juice all through the back of the car. By the time we got there, the kids were cranky and the place was packed and food took ages. I was already so on edge, and my husband made a comment that we should have just ordered pizza at home. And I snapped, like fully snapped. I said something like, I've spent weeks planning this weekend and no one even seems to care. The whole table just went quiet and the vibe was awful after that. Later that night, my husband told me he appreciated everything I did, but that the whole day just felt stressful because I seemed so tense the whole time. Now I feel horrible because the entire reason I planned the weekend was for everyone to really enjoy time together, and instead I feel like I've ruined it. Part of me feels unappreciated, and part of me feels like I created all this pressure for myself. I know I always expect perfect, but I don't know how to be okay when things don't happen the way I want it to. And I feel like a lot of us are going to get hit in the gut with that.
Honey, we need to chat.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Honey,
We need
to chat. The Lego movie. It's great. We are the podcast all about the importance of communication in a relationship. So what we like to do is create these kind of like toolkit style episodes where you guys get different tools and tricks and tips for you to put into your own toolkit for you to be able to have better conversations, more successful conversation, and just strength-based conversations so your relationship can grow.
Amen.
We're your everyday couple.
We are.
Navigating your everyday struggles to help you realize you can too.
Yeah.
So do it. Let's do it.
Let's navigate. So we opened this episode on a Reddit story talking about a situation that happened with a couple and a family. And that's the dynamic we want to play out today. We want to discuss what it means when you're trying to be the perfect partner, or you're trying to be the perfect wife, be the perfect mom, whatever, insert the word there, but you're trying to be perfect and things aren't meeting your expectations and what can kind of play out when that happens. And we wanted this to be a practical conversation with tips to help you setting your expectations in a way that's going to be easier to meet and also help you enjoy your time together without it being like, it has to be perfect, it has to be perfect. So we're going to dive right into this dynamic. But before we do that, the most important part of this podcast is about to happen.
Keep your pants on. It's Would You Rather time.
Honey, where's my pants?
We like that movie.
Yeah, we actually haven't watched that movie for a long time. All right, Would you rather?
Okay, the reason this is the most important part of this podcast is this is my time to shine. This is the one activity that Amy has allowed me to input on for this podcast. So,
okay, that's not even true. You wrote part of this episode.
Yeah, I did. I just like the pity party thing sometimes. Make me feel, special and seen. Would you rather spend 3 weeks planning the perfect surprise getaway only for your partner to ask, can we just stay at home and order a pizza? Do you understand what I did there?
Yeah,
That's
you
what
used the story. Yeah.
Or have your partner plan a surprise weekend that consists of a 4-hour drive to a town where the only thing to do is visit a museum with interesting rocks.
Hang on, read the first one. You plan it and then they say, can we stay home and order pizza?
Yeah.
I'd rather the second one, because if you did the first one, I'd be mad because I spent time and energy planning something that you just...
Would you rather be mad or completely bored?
I'd rather be completely bored.
Okay, that's a good answer. Would you rather, when the tension hits at the dinner table, you have to settle the argument by using a literal referee whistle to call timeouts every time someone gets snarky, or have to resolve the conflict by holding hands and skipping in a circle until someone starts laughing?
The whistle.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't want to get up and skip.
That would actually make me more narky. I reckon the whistle.
Yeah, it would not be effective, and it would be just disruptive to everyone around you.
Yeah. Well, it's not like there might not be anyone around.
Yeah, but what if you're in a restaurant?
Then
pull out that whistle.
They're all gonna know.
Interesting.
My one's better. Would you rather give a 5-minute pre-dinner speech to the entire restaurant about how hard you worked on raising your kids, or hand out feedback forms to random strangers at the park asking them to rate your family's wholesomeness on a scale of 1 to 10? Would you?
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny.
I think I'd
You'd rather do the speech?
I think I'd rather do the speech. Oh, I don't know.
Not in front of a restaurant.
So. Yeah, I actually think
what an awkward thing to do.
Yeah. Anyway,
you're wrong and I'm right.
Well, I'm on the fence. So thank you for listening to
Would you rather? So let's dive back into this Reddit story that we opened with. I wanted to just start by highlighting that this, for one thing, is so common. It's played out for us, and we're going to give examples later of how this has played out for us. And two, it's something she tried to put effort into. Like she's tried to make this special for her family, and her intention is really beautiful. She was trying to create connection, and the effort was there. So that's all unfortunate when something falls apart and it doesn't work out the way that you want it to.
Yeah.
Because it can kind of feel like it's taking away a little bit from that effort that was put into it. But it's that moment where the husband is like, we should have just ordered pizza, that she kind of implodes. So that comment alone, I don't think is inappropriate. I mean, maybe it's not helpful from the husband, but it's not the comment that makes her explode. That's just kind of like her trigger point is what my read of this is, that she's so overwhelmed. She's already feeling so disappointed in all the effort she's put in. And then this comment's just like, ugh. So that, I don't think that's the problem that happened. I think that's just like the little pop of the balloon.
I think it is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the problem. I think it's a problem. So if you were to just separate all of that other stress and just had that comment, though, that would still be a problem because it's undermining, it's not valuing the work that has been done. Right. So even if it was a good weekend and then like that kind of, not make it worse, but that would be a bit of a shock still to someone turn around and say like, we should have just stayed home and ordered pizza. Mm-hmm. Like I think one big thing that we notice out of our conversations or whatever else is we don't just say stuff for the sake of saying it, right? Like I don't like it if I feel like you're being disingenuous. Like if you're just saying something and I feel like you're just saying it to make me feel good, I don't like that. And so for me, but it's also the other way around though. If you're saying something but not understanding like the value or someone's thinking behind their action and you've just made that comment, that's also just as bad.
It's not very considerate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think all the tension building up to it would have made that even worse at the time. So the issue is that she feels like she's failed because she's planned this special weekend and she's got all these things that she's put into it, which is really beautiful. And then the expectations of how that's going to pan out has kind of crumbled the time together and made it, because it was a time when they were struggling, I think she said. They had been struggling for a little while. Like it was really overwhelming. And so she was trying to find a time for them to connect again. So even more so, like there was more riding on it than probably there normally would be.
Yeah.
And she now feels like she's failed, or this thing that she was trying to do has failed, has fallen apart. There's a lot of emotional pressure that she attached to that plan and the things that she put into there. So from personal experience, I find these kind of things unfold, these kind of instances unfold when I have put a lot of significance behind something, and expectations are huge. So that's the other thing too. I've set my expectations here. And then when things don't meet that, I find it really tough. And that's the dynamic that we're wanting to explore today in the episode. This is a dynamic that plays out for couples a lot, where you're trying to be this and life is not smooth and cruisy and predictable. And so sometimes reaching this level is not actually super doable. And instead, you know, then we've got our expectations up here. When we can't meet that and we actually end up landing here, everything kind of feels like it's falling apart underneath there. So I think things like she's planned ahead what the weekend was going to look like. She's planned ahead doing these special things. She's trying to engineer meaningful moments with the family to bring them together. They hadn't connected much. And then she's feeling upset when the reality hasn't matched the picture that she had in her head. So we're trying to control this experience, and we've got these expectations that it's going to look a certain way. And the thing is, you're dealing with life, but you're also dealing with kids and all of the things that come in with that. And so then when it's something that we've got set up so high and it doesn't look the way we want to, it's actually really hard to enjoy the experience for what it is. And we have this happen all the time.
Yeah.
Like on smaller scales and on bigger scales as well. So she wanted quality time. She wanted a family memory. She wanted reconnection. But somewhere along the way, she had kind of set herself up by saying, if this goes well, then it's good. And if this doesn't go well, then it's bad. So she's got these expectations in her mind for what she's pulled together. And unfortunately, in this situation, it sounds like they were not met.
This is actually really critical. So when I think about different, holidays or events or whatever, like activities that I've ran, like you have this picture in your head. You're like, what it is, why you want to do it, and your desired outcome. And so a lot of the times, though, one of those things will mess up. Like if you look at our wedding, we talked about our wedding last week, right? And on the morning of our wedding, we had this expectation that we were going to have our ceremony at an apple orchard. We had like a carnival theme event. It was outside. It was beautiful. And we're talking about the response that more you had in that time, because you had this picture, you've been picturing it for years compared to me, of what it would look like. Then we had a severe weather warning and it wasn't the same. And a big part of that was for me to understand what one of those things has messed up in that. And it was nearly all three of them, actually, if you look at it. Like all those three areas were messed up with that scenario. And the frustration was real for you. My knowledge of how to walk through that with you was minimal. I didn't know how to do that until we discussed it and talked through it. And I think a big thing, like one, this dude's response to that is just not helpful in the situation at all. And I didn't do that at all, but my response to that situation was, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And you're like, well, no, it's not. It's not going to be how I pictured it. And it was still that, I think maybe grief of this expectation that you had. I'm not sure if grief is too strong of a word, but there's this element where it just blows up and you feel like, you can't express what you wanted to express. You can't show the love that you've wanted to show or anything,
Yeah. It was a grief and it was an adjustment. Like I suddenly had to adjust to what things were. And we've learned since then that I don't do that well.
Yeah, and that's good to know. And I think one thing with this too, though, is that, okay, cool, you're looking at the situation, you're looking at the plan. What is the most important part of this plan, right? So if you're looking at our wedding situation, what's the most important part of the wedding? At the end of the day, it's that we get married.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the most important part. And we got to that point and we enjoyed it. We had such a great day. We had to move the venue to indoors at our church, which wasn't our ideal location, but it's what we did. And the wedding was a success. I think with this guy's response, it makes the whole thing look like a failure. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, you failed. We should have just done this whole different thing instead because this failed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't supportive or encouraging or
I don't think that's what he meant at all. No. I think he probably was just like,
it's how you can
we could have gotten pizza. Like he could have been saying that for so many reasons that don't have anything to do with what she planned or didn't plan. But yeah, he does then say that it was just a really stressful day.
Yeah.
So that is kind of putting it on her. But yeah, exactly. It's the expectations that have gone into planning it, and it's the priorities that you've got on it and the meaning that you've got on it, and then to have that not really heard. Or not understood when people are responding is huge.
Well, I've got a question for you. This is another Would You Rather, but it's out of our Would You Rather segment. Picture and name it. Picture and name an activity or a holiday that you have mainly planned with our family.
Our anniversary getaway.
Great. Now, that's actually a really good one because we've got some examples from that too.
Yeah.
So picture that. And you did the majority of that planning in terms of, I think I said where or whatever. Yeah. You put in a lot of effort to that. And then we went there. What was the most important thing for you on that trip?
Like at the core, what was the most important thing? At the core. That we spent time together and celebrated.
And celebrated. And then what would you have rathered happen? That all your plans happened and the picture that you had was like that picture perfect, everything that you imagined happened, or that the quality time was real and deep and,
so you're saying everything I imagined happened, but the quality time wasn't real? because you said, would I rather everything that I imagine happened, or would I rather the quality time is real?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think you're saying, would you rather everything I planned happen, but the quality time didn't feel great?
Yeah. No, that's
it all
exactly
fell
right.
apart. Yeah.
So, because it's more, what I'm more asking is like, where would you have focused more, right? Of all your plans happening and the quality time wasn't as good, or plans didn't happen, or the picture didn't go to according to plan, which is what actually happened, but we had a great time together. We had that quality time.
Yeah.
What would you have actually rathered?
Like in the long run, I would rather we have the quality time together.
Yeah.
But
in the moment,
the plans, because that's who I am.
Yeah,
like, that's how my brain works.
Exactly right. And that's not diminishing your value of our quality time. It's like your whole setup of getting to that and the investment that you had, the why you had, everything it was in that was built up.
Yeah.
Post that event, you could see the quality time
was
happen.
the most important
It was great.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
the most important part.
Yeah, and that plays into one of the examples I'm going to give later in the episode as well. Not that story exactly, but yeah, good point. And that's the thing, is it's easy to feel like if it's not going the way you want it to, practically speaking, that it's failing, rather than recognizing where your priorities could be or your expectations could be, which is that we were spending time together, and then being a little bit more easy come, easy go with the details of it happening well. I think that's what happens with her here too, is she's obviously put a lot of expectation on this weekend away to the point where she's planned everything. And then I know that feeling when you're just like, it's just not going smoothly. Yeah. Like, even if it's not huge, big deals, it's just like little annoyances and it gets under your skin. And I think it's because of how much you've set it up with the expectations. Because an outside perspective would look at that and be like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Everyone's healthy and everyone's here, kind of thing. So that's, I think, the trap that we're trying to touch on today, which is the perfectionism trap. And this is a very close one to my heart because I really do like fixate every single week. I fixate on perfectionism. And actually this year, my motto for myself has been, I don't have it worded well, but it's a vibe in my head. But basically, like, messy is better than perfect. Like, messy and doing it is better than perfect and not doing it.
Yeah.
And it's been like playing out a lot in business and my personal life. And that's been really helpful because I've just had to be reminding myself it's actually better for me to not be seeking this perfectionism here and be actually making moves, putting myself out there, enjoying the stuff I'm doing or trying the stuff I want to try, and having it messy and having me have to like kind of weed through it than me trying to have it like perfectly set up before I try. I think it's really common. So it's common because you plan things. And if you're a planner, that's even more so the case, but you plan, you also project and you put expectations on things. And as a couple, I think it's really like when you're thinking about your relationship, it's really easy if you're planning things for your relationship to have a very specific idea of what it's going to look like. Like, we went out for your birthday last week or the week before. Anyway, in the last 2 weeks, last week. And we went out to Okami, which we love going to. But the food, I don't know. The food was just like, we were both a little bit over the food.
We've been there a lot.
Yeah. Like, I didn't have a huge appetite and it's an all you can eat buffet. Like, there were just a few things like that. And every time we go out for dinner, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to go out for a date night. And then we eat and we're done so fast. Yeah. And almost every time we come home, your mom's like, you could have stayed out longer.
Yeah.
And we even try. Like, we went for a drive. Did we? Yeah.
We went
for a drive and sometimes we go out for ice cream and stuff, or we go for a walk around. And we still end up back early. So those kinds of things is like, I kind of picture like, oh, it's going to be this amazing night. And then it ends up being a little bit like ho-hum.
Well, my defense in that too, though, is that we work from home. We both work. We're around each other all the time. So it's not that we don't have quality time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the need for the date night is less than some others that are working, that are both working full time, that don't spend that time together. We spend a lot of time together. So I just, for me, it's like, oh no, we've done what we need to do. This is a special thing. We've done it. And now.
But I think the point of that is that the more you try to control the experience or the more you try to focus on things that just are not in your control or your expectations or your plans and whatever, then the harder it is to actually enjoy that time together. Yeah. And while she obviously did this for a really good reason and her heart was probably in a really good place, And while her husband's comments were not helpful, it still is an issue that you see playing out in life and in relationships and in families. And it can damage the enjoyment that the family is feeling. So perfectionism in relationships, it usually starts with good intentions. Like we said, she wanted quality time, a family memory. She wanted to reconnect. They said they'd had a hard time. But somewhere along the way, the brain often adds a rule or like adds expectations to it. So if this is what I'm picturing, and if this doesn't happen, it's not good, or it's not right, or it wasn't what it should have been, or I've failed, or I haven't done a good job, or, that sort of thing. And then the whole experience can become so overwhelmed by you setting your expectations up to this level that you actually can't even be present and enjoy it for what it is along the way, which is, exhausting, especially when you play into all the different factors that might be playing out in a relationship, like the mental and emotional load. So if you've done the planning of it on your own as well, then you're carrying this weight of it that just feels a lot heavier in the first place. And you're wanting to treat the person you love. You want to make them feel special. You want the family to feel like they're reconnecting. So it's the significance to it is really high as well. And then stress, really, I find personally, when I'm stressed and overwhelmed, the first people that experience it are my kids and Blair. My kids first, and then Blair.
And Bonnie, our dog.
And the animals. Animals, kids, Blair. And so it's just like this downward spiral, because you're stressed about the circumstances. You're wanting to make it special with your family. Then you're stressed about the circumstances. Then you get cranky at the people you're trying to make it stressful for. It's like...
Special for.
Special for.
You said you're trying to make stressful for.
Make it special for. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes when people come to coaching, they say things like, I know what I should do. I just can't actually do it. And most of the time, it's not because they're lazy or even unmotivated. It's because they're stuck in a pattern. The same thought loop, the same emotional reaction, the same situation showing up again and again. After seeing this need over and over, I started building something called the circuit breaker. It's a really simple, personalized reset. You complete a short diagnostic, and I map out the pattern that's actually keeping you stuck and give you one clear, practical move to interrupt it. It's not a huge life overhaul. There's no face-to-face chat or need to jump on an uncomfortable call. It's just one diagnostic done from the comfort of your own home, and you receive a private, individualized, focused shift to help break the loop. If you're feeling like you keep circling the same issue in life, in relationships, or just in your own head, the circuit breaker might be exactly what you need. Find more information about the circuit breaker in the show notes below or on our website at honeyweneedtochat.com.
One thing I have, and it's staying on my mind, and this is kind of going off script a little bit, but I need to ask the question because my mind is like, well, okay, this is the situation. It's intense. It's stressful. We're on this holiday. When and how do I bring it up to address this? Do you know what I mean? Like when is that time to address it,
Like
and
her
how?
husband did.
But
in a better way.
In a better and not then.
What would the good option be?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the good option would be to recognize what's happening for your partner. If they're the one that, and it's me, guys, I'm this one. Yeah. Blair knows he's asking this question because it's me.
I need to know.
Like if you recognizing in me that I'm spiraling because of how things are going, or everything's like layering up, I think the better way to go about it is addressing, how are you going? Like, is everything okay? And then trying to be like that curious mindset and the gentle mindset of how can I help you feel better right now, rather than adding your overwhelm to the situation. Because that, if it was me, I would just feel like even worse.
So if we take our anniversary last year as an example, I could tell you were stressed with it. You know, you weren't happy with the location and all this sort of stuff. And I'm loving it. I thought it was a great time, but that wasn't helping you. What should my response have been? Because me just asking, are you okay? Or how are you going? That wasn't what was helpful.
Yeah.
In that moment, because I knew it wasn't like I knew what the problem was. So what is my role in that situation?
Yeah, I think talking about it, letting me vent and seeing what I'm frustrated about, and then just having a really good attitude is really helpful. And
this is a big one for us men, okay? And I'm still learning this. There's the time to listen and there's the time to fix. This one was a listening one, and I think I tried to fix it. You know, because I think I was trying to highlight all the good things that it was about, and I wasn't really listening to you. I was listening, but I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's fine because of this, and this, and you were just like, no, just let me be annoyed, and I'll get it out of my system. I'll be annoyed, and then we're done. But I wasn't allowing that for the first little bit. for you to be annoyed. Because I think for me, my response was, I was like, oh no, but if you're annoyed, I'm going to get annoyed that you're annoyed. And then I'm like, but that's going to ruin my time.
Well, then it spirals.
So I think for me, what I need to do for myself in that situation is be like, all right, cool. You're annoyed. Let's hear you be annoyed. And that's not me for mine to own. So I was like, cool, this is just for you to do that. And this is what we're going to do. And I think what would be helpful for me though, is then if in that conversation would be, cool, how are we not going to let this get in the way?
Yeah.
And having that clear statement of this is, but it is annoying. This is the annoying part, but this is what we're going to do from here at the end of the conversation, I think would help my brain then switch off from owning it.
Yeah. I think like even having a tagline or something that you say all the time, which is like whatever feels emotive to you as the listener and the engager on this on your end. But for us, it could be something like, for me, I think, like, how are you going to find joy right now? Or something that just means something to us. And we have that tagline so that it's not an accusation, or it's not like adding pressure like, oh, now I've ruined it for Blair as well. It's just more your gentle reminder of like, you can shift your mindset about things. And this is going to be wasted for you if you can't do that. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I think that's a great thing to be able to work through together is, again, you are that perfectionist. So organizing that holiday for you was like, it has to be like this. And again, so letting that vent, but then cool. Then where do we go from there?
Yeah.
I think it's a really important one. But and what's really important too is that you that are listening, you are working out the right words to say
for
together.
You.
What I mean, I would say would be very different, potentially very different to what you would say that would be helpful.
It needs to be a statement that means something for you. And I do this in coaching all the time because there's all these nice things you can bring up in coaching. And it's like, it'll change your mindset. It's positive thinking. And like, that's great. Obviously, for the person who's come up with that statement, it's meant something. But when you just try to repeat the same thing to other people, unless it resonates in your body and you can feel that shift of like, yeah, that's right, it makes sense, then it's not the right thing. It can almost be more frustrating. It can be more patronizing. It can be more infuriating depending on what it is. So it has to be something that has an emotional significance for you and makes and communicates the thing you're communicating.
Yeah.
I think a big thing too is like if you act. So in that situation, I was like, not only was I disappointed with what it was, I was like, it's so much money that we're spending here and it's not matching up. I was frustrated at the care of the people, that like the customer service kind of thing as well. So that frustrates me too, because I'm like, this is not okay. But then there's also the element of like, I've let Blair down. And so if you indicated, which you didn't at all, that you were let down or you weren't enjoying it, or you're like a little bit annoyed by it, that would make it so much harder as well. And I think when someone's carrying the weight of something because they're the ones responsible for it, it's a beautiful gift to give them to relieve your part of, like, doesn't mean that it's always possible, but to relieve your part of the weight for them. Be like, don't worry about me. It's fine.
Yeah.
And you didn't do this in that, like you did not make me feel worse. But I think in the back of my mind, I'm like, Blair's going to be hating this. Is he liking it? Is he not liking it? Is he bored? Is he frustrated? Is he thinking about how much money we've spent and it's wasted, or like whatever? And
if you actually want to have a view of this, go over to our YouTube channel, Honey, We Need to Vlog. It's on there. It's actually, watched it the other day as a reminder. It was a beautiful spot.
It was really nice.
One big kick in the gut was we watched the vlog, and it will go into more detail, but we ordered in an all-inclusive dinner, we ordered 2 bottles of sparkling water, which ended up costing $24. And it was just like $24 alone is not like this massive amount, but we spent a lot of money on an all-inclusive place.
And no drinks were included except water.
And then so we're like, let's not spend any more money and just get water. And then we had to pay.
They didn't tell us before. No. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So moving back onto our script, even though I like these off the script parts, is there's a lot of reasons why someone may struggle with feeling like perfectionism is their thing, or needing to be the perfect partner or the perfect mom or the perfect whatever. And a lot of that comes through how they were raised in various different reasons, various different ways. Sorry. So I've just listed a bunch of examples of where this pressure might be coming from, because I think part of what is helpful and has been helpful for me is recognizing why I have this trait and why it plays out. Because once I recognize why I've got it, then it's easier for me to hold loosely to it for myself and recognize, oh, that's just happening for me, but I don't need to take that on right now. So some of the reasons that someone might be feeling like they need to be this perfectionistic person, seek perfectionism, is maybe in their family, love was expressed through effort. So some people grow up learning that love is shown through doing things well. So parents who created really big, beautiful family moments or traditions that were special or they were praised for being organized and thoughtful and organizing things and doing things right. And they've built a rule for themselves that might say, if I create something beautiful or if I create something right, people will feel loved or they will love me. And so then when things don't work that way, it can make them feel like they've failed. So that's one of the patterns that might be playing out. The other is being the responsible one. And this is one for me because I was the oldest child and I was navigating my family dynamics, which were not always easy. I was also self-inflicted navigating them, just to be clear.
Yeah.
This is a story I built for myself. But yeah, people sometimes grow up as the one who keeps everything together or who thinks that they keep everything together in my case. So maybe they were the organized sibling, the helper, the peacemaker, the in-between person, whatever you want to put in that place. They learned to manage the emotional atmosphere around them. And so when something doesn't go right, their instinct is, I should have prevented this, or it's on me, or I need to fix it. And 1000%, that is me. The other one is someone might have fear of disappointment. So if someone grew up around high expectations or criticism, they might have developed a rule that says, if I get everything right, no one will be upset. And disappointment is a really big thing that they experienced or they felt a fear of. And so in this case, it could be, if I had this, I was fearful that you were disappointed in me. Another is, and this is a big one, and I think this plays in a lot at the moment, is the modern pressure of for the gram or whatever you want to put that on. But basically social media has created this highlight reel that we are all aware of, where you're presenting your highlight reel of life to the world. And so when you're just like scrolling through these things, you're seeing these people living these highlight reels and everything beautiful and picturesque and aesthetic. That's the big one for me, is like, my life is not aesthetic and people's lives are aesthetic. And I just like, I can't understand how you can actually be aesthetic. So you can build this picture by scrolling that life should look this way. And then you can plan a thing and be like, oh, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be cool and I can capture it for social media and whatever. And that is not super realistic because it is a highlight reel and it's not the real everyday life of people. And it's not even the real picture of that little glimpse. And so we can build this whole thing around feeling like we need to match up to this expectation, but it's not even a real reality for people anyway. And then you could also just be, your identity is tied into it. So you might be the one that makes things special. You may really just love planning things or making things magical or creating meaningful moments. And I have friends like this. This is not me, but I have friends like this who just do a really beautiful job of like making things magical and special. And they go the extra length just to make sure that it's beautiful, especially for their kids. And so I think if you've got that, you probably would struggle when things aren't matching up to what you're wanting them to look like. So those are some of the reasons that you might find this dynamic playing out. And so we have this tool that we are presenting to you to kind of combat this. And this is the B- tool. So instead of trying to be that A+ partner or the A+ mom or dad or the A+ worker, it's okay to be focusing on being a solid B- partner or B- mom, B- energy and effort put into it.
Get on my level, guys. Get on my level.
On our level. So let's explain that because that might be confusing. A+ energy is tightly controlling the experience, high emotional investment in everything going right, easily frustrated when plans change. B- energy is being more flexible, relaxed, focused on connection rather than execution, or focused on the core of the why you're doing it rather than on what you're planning around to try and make it work. So how does this look and how does this pan out? How does this pan out? Some examples. You think about a date night, and I've got a specific example for us about this, which is similar to our anniversary trip. So we went on a trip to Brisbane a few years ago. It was kid-free.
That was another anniversary.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah, I think it was. It was kid-free. We went there and I feel like it was kind of like last minute that we were going to be able to do it or something.
Mhm.
Anyway,
I feel like all our trips are
Yeah,
last
I know,
minute,
for
and it's
real.
like, oh,
For
let's
real.
just do it.
including America.
Yeah.
I think you were already there for work and I met you. No, that was a different one.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went to Brisbane and I don't know Brisbane. We were excited to go to Brisbane. My sister lives there. We were going to see her, lived there. We were going to see her. And I don't know Brisbane at all. And we've gone to Melbourne like 500 times. And we were like, let's do something different and actually fly up. And we got cheap flights from Melbourne. And so we booked this hotel and it looked really nice. And again, I was the one that booked the location. I spent ages trying to find the right place. Couldn't find anything really affordable. It was all extra pricey for some reason, which we've now found out is because our weekend lands on Grand Prix weekend, our anniversary, or around that time. So often that's what's happening. But anyway, didn't know that at the time. I don't know why it was affecting Brisbane. I kept trying to figure out what was going on.
No, it was NRL.
Oh, NRL.
Yeah,
it was at the same time. Yeah, because Melbourne was even more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, NRL. That's right. So why did we get married at this time of the year? I don't know. Anyway, we got to, it was all nice. I think the drive, we have to drive 3 hours to get to the airport in the first place. So that's always a bit of a deflating thing because you're exhausted by the time you even get to the airport, and then you got to fly up there, and then you got to get to your hotel. So it's a whole thing. But we did get there, and then the room was just really basic. I just remember being like, oh, we spent like $800 a night on this.
Yeah,
or something.
when you're picturing like a romantic getaway, it's like this special thing. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, really. And I was really in my head about the money. And that was the most tangible experience I've got of this, like more so than our anniversary, I think. Because I was just like in a mood. I was like, we're only here 2 nights. We're spending so much money. They needed to take a big deposit out of our account, even though we'd already paid for it or something like that. And then I was like, anyway, it's the whole thing. And then we also had planned to get tattoos. Do you remember this?
I remember you planned is a stretch.
No.
We floated the idea of potentially.
Mm-hmm. I think we had planned to get tattoos. And then
who do you believe, me or her?
No. And then we looked into the price and I was like, it's right. 150 minimum.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And you're like, you can do it. I don't want to do it.
On top of all the other
everything
stuff
else. Yeah. And I actually cried. I remember we were in the middle of some place near where my sister was living and I was crying. And I think it was raining. It was like a whole thing. All these things, nothing huge. It just was like
a lot of little things.
I'm not enjoying how much this is costing. I'm not enjoying how I'm feeling. I'm stressed about money. I think that actually might have been when I was stressed about tax as well.
Yeah.
That time where I was like stressed about tax and I don't think I'd fully told you how stressed I was about tax. Didn't need to be stressed. It was fine in the end, but shouldn't have kept it to myself. And so I was just like really not in a good mood. And then I really wanted these tattoos and then you didn't want to do it. And then we actually went into the waiting room of a tattoo parlor because I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it anyway. And then we walked out.
And you cried.
And then I cried. And I really hyperfixate. So I literally right up until we were leaving was Googling tattoo parlors near me and whether I could still quickly pop in. I've done this multiple times on different trips as well. So it was a lot of expectations that just weren't met. And I remember being super aware that I was in a very bad mood because of these things that just were not meeting my expectations. And they were also like, not just not meeting my expectations, they were disappointing me on top of that. And trying to figure out how to shift my attitude so I could actually enjoy it. And that was the other part, as I was like counting down the time. Like we were finally kid-free. I think it was only 2 nights up there. Yeah. And like just counting, being like, we've only got a day and a half. We've only got a day. We've only got half a day. And like just snap into it and enjoy the time, which we did end up enjoying it. And most of that was because we rode the scooters. Which was really nice.
I actually saw scooters the other day. I'm like, I remember when you had to actually hire the scooters.
Yeah.
Like,
do you not hire them?
Everywhere. They're everywhere. Like, why would they hire them now?
Surely you hire them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, that's my example of a date-related one. I had set it up. It was this beautiful hotel in my mind. It was going to be amazing. We're going to get tattoos. We're going to live our best life, kid-free after our 4th child for the first time. And then it didn't match that way. You were very good at reminding me, we're still here. It's nice. We're in the city. We're walking. We're experiencing new places. We went out for good food, like all of these things. And so if I'd been a B- partner in that place instead of an A+ partner, I would have been like, I'm away with Blair. I can sleep. We're having delicious food. We had the money to be able to go away, even if it was tight and I was frustrated by how much was going to this thing that shouldn't be costing that much. We were blessed enough to do that.
I think something that would have been helpful and probably something we should implement next time, whatever that is, like setting that before you go. Like what does a B- trip look like?
Yeah.
Like what is the main things we want to focus on so that because I think we've done it that many times now, and like trips and things and ideas that just don't play out the way that you envisioned it. So now we just set that before we go.
Yeah.
Write
together.
that down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're on the same page of like, no, this is why we're going. This is what we want to get out of it. Even on the trip there, like even just vocalizing it.
Yeah. Even there's another dynamic that plays out a lot. We used to do both of us separately. And then when we were together, did a lot of youth work with churches. So we would do youth camps and we helped run the youth groups and that kind of thing. And because we were at a lot of camps, a dynamic that played out every single camp was the couples that were leaders had a hard time. Like every single camp, couples had arguments. And I saw that before I was with Blair, and we saw that when we were together. And so then it became a thing of like, oh, we're going on a camp. You're likely to feel tense. And if you can set that standard before you go and you know, oh, we're probably going to be at each other a little bit more than we normally are, then it was way, way better. It kind of took away that pressure. And it's the same sort of thing with this. I think exactly what you've just said, like setting it and being like, these times tend to be disappointing because they're so exciting and they don't match what we want. So let's set that now so that when we start to feel like things aren't matching it, we can still kind of just float in the enjoying it for what it is area. So the other dynamic that plays out a lot for me, and we've talked about this a lot in our relationship, is expectations and parenting. When you have kids, you have these things, you're like, oh, it's going to be so magical to go do this thing with my kids. And especially when they're young, like the chances of it being as magical as you picture it is almost non-existent. We've discovered this, and we've found it so much easier when we work at setting our expectations before we're going, same sort of thing, that it's probably going to be stressful. We're probably going to be overwhelmed. They're probably going to be hyped up. They're probably going to misbehave because they're not like listening because they're on sugar and it's loud and it's overstimulating. And especially if it's something like you're going away on a holiday, it's not going to be relaxing. We're not going to be able to sleep in. The kids are probably going to struggle to go to bed. Like having that set expectation before you go, not to be like a Debbie Downer, but to be instead preparing yourself for that B- mindset of like, but we're going to have fun. It has always helped with the emotions and enjoying the time. And it's always helped me with reframing what's happening. Instead of it being like, it's not going the way I want, I can just be like, enjoy being there and watching the chaos unfold that I was fully expecting would unfold. So that's another way you might find that play out quite a bit once you become parents as well. This is not about B- is not about not trying or being careless either. Just to be clear, it's not about giving up and being sloppy and not putting effort into things. That could sound that way, but it's not. It's more about just removing the expectation of perfection so that you can enjoy what's happening.
Yeah. And it's okay if you don't hit it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so you can have your plan for this magical time, but being okay and probably expecting that it won't be as good as you've pictured it. Not to be a downer, but to just help with that expectation. So many times we've set expectations and we try and stick to them, and it just stresses everyone out, or I'm getting frustrated and overwhelmed because it's not the way that I pictured it. It's like, no, if I could just relax and be in the moment, focus on that, I'm a lot more chill with it. The other thing that's important to say too, sometimes you actually might go down to a C- depending on the season that you're in, and it's completely fine. You recognizing the season, recognizing that it is a season is going to be extremely helpful for that too. You know, we talk about, if you're in a C- season and you want to have a date night, C- season is very different to a B+ season or B- season or an A+ season. They're very different. Your C- season for a date night might be ordering hot chips. Like that might be it. And that's okay. You're identifying what it is, and you're just allowing for you to be in that season so you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to be depressed that you're not in a season that you think you should be, and you just want to enjoy it.
And I really love that. Almost like having a rating scale that you guys decide on together so that you can release the pressure of it, and then also have that understanding that this is not forever. So just because you might be dropping down to C minus, D minus, let's stay away from F. Just D minus is,
D minus is the lowest. You don't need to go any lower.
Yeah, exactly. That season is temporary, and we've had so many of these seasons. And when you've got that temporary mindset, you can almost look at it like a challenge that you're doing together, and you're going to enjoy that time in the way that suits that rating, knowing that down the track there's going to be something closer to a B, closer to an A, whatever it looks like. But for right now, it's okay that it's sitting in the C minus or whatever it might be. So yeah, absolutely. I love that so much. So practically speaking, this is a good challenge for you to be thinking about. What might you be setting up, even looking at this week? What's coming up in this week that you could project and be like, actually, I probably have set up my expectations for this, or this. What might be coming up? It could be family outings, date nights, having friends over, bedtime routines. That's a big one. Exercise routines for yourself, eating, like your family meal plan. That's one we've been going through as well. Like we go through these seasons, and right now we're going through a season of cheap and sustainable, but works for our family, serves our family. So whatever might be coming up, and just identifying one that you're more at risk for having higher expectations than is maybe doable, and purposely allowing yourself to set that expectation lower. Not your standards lower, and compromising on what is a value and a standard for you guys. So for us, the food example is good. Like we've been building our standard of what is okay and what isn't for our family to be having. Like ham, for example, was in our weekly sandwiches, and Blair's read something about ham being really bad. And so now we just cannot do ham. Yeah. But we're in a budget-friendly, sustainable food time. And so it would be very easy to lean into things like that. We're not compromising on that, but we're adjusting and stepping up to the challenge on how it can work for us in a way that works. So what's one area you can project that might be coming up that could be a trap, this perfectionistic trap, that you can just intentionally set your expectations one notch down to make sure that it's going right? Yeah. And set your criteria of what you read as achievement really clearly. So for our example of the anniversary, is our criteria that everything goes smoothly and we get value for money? Or is our criteria that we're spending quality time together? And having that set clearly before you go or before you do this activity can be really helpful for helping your mind be in the right space to enjoy and get the most out of it. And I reckon a C minus time with adjusted expectations, stepping up to the challenge, can be more enjoyable than an A plus time that does not meet the expectations you have, doesn't meet the plans you've got, and ends up being stressful and overwhelming. Yeah. Like it can actually feel better once you've got your brain adjusted in that way. Remember the times where you can look back and think, our wedding being a good example, you hardly remember the details that made it really stressful at the time. You might remember them, but the things that do stand out to you were spending time together, celebrating together, getting married. Getting married. Yeah. Use that as an example to reflect back and be like, you hardly remember those details that you'll get really stressed about, and just let that be something that you're adjusting yourself as you're going forward, so you can be relaxed, you can enjoy your time together, you can connect the way that you want to be connecting instead of falling into this trap that can cause you lots of stress.
This was a bit of a storytelling episode, and the reason for that is just to walk through, I think that was something for us to even work through for ourselves of, allowing ourselves to be in that B minus stage, just having that as the priority and being intentional and aware of that. So that was the purpose of the storytelling stuff. But tell us your stories. Where have you tried to be an A plus and it just hasn't gone well for you? So write in. You can do that in the comments on YouTube, or write in on our email at honeyweneedtochat.com. You can go through that way as well. Write in. We love hearing from you guys. So please write in there. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Until next week, guys. Good chat.
See ya.
For those that are actually watching this video, you'll notice that we're in a different location. We were a meter that way, and now we're a meter this way. Surprise! The reason is because I got told that it's better for us to be in a corner rather than on a flat wall. So
no one puts baby in a corner.
No, so why is this black thing here, you may ask, what is it called? A
divider.
Divider. Well, because on the other side of this divider, we started looking at different paint colors. Amy painted 3 blobs in that spot there, and that's as far as we got. So now we have 3 blobs on the wall, and so that's going to be there. But we're in a corner, which is great. Other exciting news, though, because that was riveting. We've actually moved on our YouTube again. We've split. For those that are watching on YouTube, you'll notice that we've had our podcast on here, and we've also had our vlogs on here. Now, as we're growing and learning more about algorithms and things like that, that actually has been doing harm to our YouTube channel because it's trying to work out what are we? Are we a vlog or a podcast? So it doesn't put us in front of the right people as much. So we've now separated. So we've got Honey, We Need to Chat, which is the podcast on YouTube, and then we also have Honey, We Need to Vlog. That's a new YouTube channel. So if you're not on there following that, just type that into YouTube and you'll see all of our vlogs. We're going to be releasing 1 to 2 a week, uploading all of our old stuff up there as well. And then new stuff will be coming. Our goal is weekly or fortnightly at this point. We're trying to do it so we've got capacity. We don't want to burn ourselves out. But check that out as well. So Honey, We Need to Vlog is the new channel.
All right, check it out.